Okay, this is going to be a very brief run through the features of the Takuma RS wing. This is the 3.5. I've also got the 5.1 over there. I may as well start with the bag. It's one of those tube-shaped bags. Material seems to be very good quality. At the end, this is mesh for drainage, I'm assuming. It's got a shoulder strap option and a single carry handle option. At the opening end, you've got a drawstring, which I will open up and show you that there are two zips. One that goes down the entire length and just widens it. So you've got webbing there which goes down to nothing. So it opens up about, I don't know, 8-10 inches at the top, wider, going down to nothing at the bottom. And there's a second zip in the webbing itself, which goes halfway down, which opens up that top half of the side completely. So if you don't fancy rolling up your wing completely and it's a bit of a mess, then you can still shove it in there and at least stop it from getting damaged in your car. Also in the whole package was this paper cardboard envelope, which contained two ripstop canopy patches. Seems to be sticky on the back, and one of these pre-glued ladder repairs patches, and also this. Now this I've not come across before. I'm assuming this is unique to Takuma, but what I don't know is if this is unique to the RS wings or not. Now, I'll show you the valves in a minute because they're totally new to me, and it took me a little while to get my head around them, but my first impressions were, wow, these are really not entirely sure. But I've used them, I've pumped up, released a few times now, and actually all valves have got their pros and cons, and these certainly do have pros and cons. So this little connection here, unfortunately, because I mostly run Duotones, that thick bit there, the wide bit, has to be pushed into the valve. So there's your connection, just your normal connector head. Now the Duotone pump end doesn't fit. The F1 pump end doesn't fit. But luckily, I have just an old pump hose, which was lying around, and it does fit. Clicks quite nicely into place, quite a good connection there. And yeah, the whole system does seem to work. So the good thing about it is that it comes with its own adapter for its valve that fits onto the bog standard pump hose. So these pumps you can get dirt cheap anywhere. You don't have to worry about getting a kite specific one. The bad thing is those cheap pumps are pretty rubbish, and the other bad thing is you've got to not lose this, because if you lose this, you are screwed. But they do give you one of these with each wing, so I've got two wings, I've got two of these. I shall keep one locked up safe and sound, so if I do lose this, hopefully I'll only lose one and not both. Right, let's have a look at the wing itself. I'm going to turn the camera around for this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you are these struts. These struts here, I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, that because they're sewed in, they're there and there. Now that's a Velcro. I mean, it does the same job as that, but it's Velcro. I don't know why. Maybe, I'm assuming that maybe you undo that Velcro and it gives you a bit of extra manoeuvring to bend it so that you can take the batten out to make it easier to fold. So, okay, so just a quick update on the wingtip battens. This bit of Velcro, as I sort of guessed, is to allow you to take out the batten should you want to. So you want to do that with a Velcro. You can now bend the batten enough to easily take it out of there. Slides out of there really easily. They don't appear to be sharp, but I still wouldn't want it to rub against the actual canopy itself. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to store these to eliminate the danger of the ends ripping the canopy there. So to put it back in again, literally just a case of inserting it through this one first, making sure it's butted up nicely in the end there, and then bending it just enough to be able to slot it in there, and then the Velcro goes back on around there. Voila, much easier than I thought. So I've got to find out, in fact I'm asking, can anybody answer this question? With the Takuma RS wings, are you supposed to take these out every time you pack it away, or are you supposed to leave them in? Or doesn't it matter? So there's a question for people. On each side of the centre strut, you've got those three trailing edge battens. They are flat. The Duotone ones are round, but these, round, flat, they both do the same thing. What is interesting though, is the inclusion of the X-ply along the trailing edge. It's, I suppose, around about 5-6 inches at the wingtip and a good 8 inches at the centre strut. Now, I believe, I could be wrong, but what I've heard about this, the reason why Takuma have included this X-ply material just along the trailing edge is because X-ply weighs more than the normal ripstop is it Dyneema? No, the ripstop material that is used for the canopy, but it doesn't stretch. So if they made it out of all X-ply, it would be very heavy. And I know there are wings out there that are made of all X-ply, but this is supposed to be a good compromise. So you don't get the extra weight of the X-ply if you use the whole wing made out of X-ply. But this trailing edge of X-ply is apparently going to prevent the trailing edge, anyway, from stretching, which means it's less likely for the whole wing to bag out. Or maybe, I don't know, is it that it'll prevent the whole of the wing from bagging out and stretching, or will it just prevent the trailing edge from stretching? If the center section, this section here, the main section, if that stretches, I don't know, is that just as much of a problem or not a problem at all? Time will tell. So when you pump it up, you will see that these wingtip battens really stretch, and as such, the tension on them pushes the wingtips out to make sure that they don't bend and give the whole shape, keep the shape, and give that stiffness. Now, these are the valves. These are the real weird valves I was talking about. So you see there's a little, so is that yellow or green rubber bit that you push down? You literally push down with your finger. Once it's inflated, you want to deflate it. You just take this off, unscrew that, and then you push with your finger, literally push into that hole. And the sort of flap of rubber or plastic will just bend in, and all the air comes whooshing out incredibly quickly, and it's like the best dump valve that I've ever used, and it does seem to seal up and work very, very well with the use of this thing. So you just push that in there, it fits in nice and tight and snug, and then you put the hose end on there, click it in tight, and I will pump that up in just a moment and show you how it operates. And just to show you, there's the other one. So clearly the center strut bladder and the leading edge bladder are completely separate. So I'll pump it up in just a second. A couple more things I want to show you. So the leading edge handle, which when you're flagging the wing or luffing the wing, whatever you like to call it, this is the one that you hang on to. It's very, very stiff for a webbing handle, and it's quite large diameter, rectangular, very boxy, Doesn't feel particularly comfortable, to be perfectly honest, but it does feel sturdy. And I quite like the idea that it's sturdy, because if it's not going to twist when you're doing that, there's no twists in the actual handle when I'm doing this, it's just twisting here because it's not inflated, then that'll really help to, you know, to, if it's twisting as you're riding and one wingtip is about to touch the water, then you can just put pressure on it by twisting your wrist the other way, and that should really help to give you control. Now, the handles, I think, first opinion, without having used them on the water yet, first opinion is that they're really cool. I believe they're made of carbon, so they are very light, and you can feel that they're strong and light. You've got a little bit of a padded section there, and then from here down to here, you've got some sort of a grip. Nice grip. It's really quite good around the diameter of the tube. Now it's at this funny angle. See if you can see the funny angle. There it is. The Duotone D-Lab does not have that funny angle, but I believe that's because they don't need a funny angle, because the center strut has the funny angle built in. Whether this handle's angle creates more of an angle than the Duotone D-Lab's handle, I do not know, but again, I can report back on what it feels like once I've used it. The rear handle is much longer, considerably longer than the Duotone one, and it does seem to lead me to think, well, why didn't they put it all the way up to here, or why didn't they put this one all the way back? Why didn't they just, you know, that is bound to be where you want to hold it for you know, one-handed flying, like the mini boom, or the full boom of the Echo, or the mini boom of the Slick. It's such an advantage to be able to hold the middle of the boom and just to be able to fly the wing one-handed. Anyway, the handles seem good, and I think we are just about ready to pump it up. So let me turn this around again, and we shall see what happens. Pump would be a good idea. Okay, that was my fault. Obviously not put that on properly. Okay, it does seem to make that bit of a noise when you take it out, but let me just show you for future reference. Okay, in there, just see the yellow bit in there. That is what you're supposed to push on. And the red bit you can see is actually the membrane of the valve. So you push on there, open it up. There's enough air in there at the moment for it to reclose the valve. So I push it in. Now, I just kept my finger in there for long enough for the pressure to be low enough so that it doesn't force that valve, that membrane closed again. So if I now put that back in place and pump up again, and there we go, that noise is just the valve closing. If I do that again, shouldn't do it. Yeah, so it's only once it's fully open to the first time you pull this out, it seems to make that big noise closing. But then if you need to put that back in again, a few more pumps, it doesn't make that same noise. So if it's closed already and then you pump and take it out, it doesn't make noise. Fully open when you pump it up to pressure and take that out, it will make that noise. Gave me a hell of a shock the first time, but I don't think I've done anything wrong. Now, just going to close that. I'll show you. Again, it's a bit weird. I'll show you in a second. Okay. Now, both of these say to inflate up to 8 psi. I'm not going to inside. There's no need because I'm just showing you the features. I'm not going to use it. Okay, now this, push it on, and I don't know, it doesn't seem like a proper screw thread. It seems a bit weird, but it does stay on there. So, there we have the rather strange valves of the Takuma RS. And I'll show you deflating in just a second, because one of the advantages are that essentially they are huge dump valves, which make the deflating process really easy. But first of all, I think I forgot to show you the leash. Now, all the RS wings seem to come with one leash each. I've got to say, I quite like it. Whether it lasts or not, yet to be seen. It's one of these ones with elastic rope inside the bunched up webbing, so it stretches, but the webbing stops it from overstretching, in theory. Wingtip battens, I said I'd show you. The wingtip battens have now got a real curve to them, and they are pushing out that wingtip, so I can imagine that's going to do a really good job of keeping its shape, keeping the tension in the canopy, especially the trailing edge. Now, the trailing edge itself is pretty tight. I like that. That's nice. And I can imagine that the X-ply at the end there will do its job and it'll prevent it from stretching. But, you know, this isn't X-ply. Will it stretch? If it does it make a difference? That's what we've got to find out. As you can see here, you know, you can twist it around, and because it's so chunky, this handle, you're going to get a lot of control when you're luffing the wing. So yeah, let me just turn it over. The leading edge handle seems to be way lower than what I'm used to. So I'm used to the handles being literally here. But the angle they've built in, this is going to be really interesting to see what difference to the handling that makes. Also, this handle, again, that's going to be really interesting to see how much of a difference that makes. Is it performance? Is it comfort? Is it a pain in the arse? I will let you know. It's a 3.5, so it is going to feel light. But yeah, tension-wise, I would say it's on a par with the old Duotone Slick. Maybe a little bit better. It's marginal, very similar, but it's nowhere near as tight as the canopy of the two new Duotones, the D-Lab and the Slick SLS. I have been told that the Takuma RS wings are very powerful and they feel locked in when you're riding. So yeah, there's lots to test and find out about. I'm going to ride this one up against the new Slick SLS, against the old Slick, the last year's, not really old, last year's, and what's the other one? Oh yeah, the Duotone D-Lab. So I'll put all those four through their paces, hopefully on the same day, so that I can give you a fair old comparison about how they will handle. I think that is about all I can do now, so signing off, and I shall report back as soon as I've used them.